Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of One Mic where I watch shit so you don't have to. And today I'm here to talk about the new, fairly new, not as new as I would have liked, but new Netflix film I Care a Lot. So this is one I didn't really have too much interest in this. It didn't look that interesting to me. Just kind of checking out the. I didn't even watch a full trailer, but just kind of like seeing some of the stills from it, some of the description of the film. I was like, I don't know if it's something I'm really interested in, but I saw a lot of people talking about it. I think somebody even requested, somebody asked if I had watched this. Someone else co-signed, like, yeah, did you check this out? So I figured, oh, fuck, I'll check it out and give my thoughts. So I did check it out. It was a little while ago. I've had some sickness issues over the course of the last week and a half, 2 weeks. That's why there's been such a fairly large gap in the time in which it's been the time between videos. There was a gap after I think my last WandaVision video up until my Fight Talk, I think 21 video. It was a gap of a few days. Illness amongst myself, my wife, my daughter for a moment played a factor in that. But during that time, I did check out I Care a Lot. I'm just now recording the video for it, but I hated this movie. I hated this movie, and to be clear, I think my hatred for this movie is unique to me. I didn't hate it for what it was in the sense of like I hate it because it is a bad movie. I hate it because it just for me it was not what I needed to see. So, to give you an idea, first let me tell you what it's about, and then I'll explain to you why this didn't work for me. So, the show's about a woman who is a legal guardian. She's played by Rosamund Pike, and essentially her partner slash little girlfriend or whatever, and a doctor are almost like a team, and this team manipulates the facts in order to go to court and become legal guardians of old people who might have money or other things of value that they can essentially use and exploit and keep for themselves. It's a very shitty operation. The premise of the movie essentially starts with a doctor who is, again, friends with Rosamund Pike's character, basically saying, hey, I got this one lady who they call a cherry, and that term is never defined, but assuming it means kind of like cherry on top, like this is like the be all end all, like this is the top, this is like the perfect thing to have. It's a woman that has essentially on paper no ties to anyone, no family. She has a lot of shit, and this woman says eventually, basically, I can give you paperwork that says this woman is not fit to take care of herself. Rosamund Pike's character, her name's Marla, I believe. Marla takes this to court and goes, hey, judge, I got this person who can't take care of herself. I recommend that I do it. And the judge goes, okay, cool. And like, all that shit seemed incredibly implausible to me. I don't know the legal guardian game or the racket. I don't know if that's a thing that happens. I hope it's not. But I don't know if that's a thing that happens. But this all felt very implausible to me, that you can just have a doctor who goes, yeah, this person is not fit to take care of themselves. Another person who the fuck is she, right? At least compared to this old woman who just shows up in court without the old lady, with nothing other than essentially a doctor's note that says this person can't take care of herself, and the judge looks at the doctor's note and goes, okay, cool, let's take everything from this woman and put everything in your hands, Marla. And then Marla shows up at her house with a court order, and this woman, and the movie shows us that this woman is perfectly fine. She's like exercising in a pool, she's driving herself around. This woman's perfectly fine. And Marla shows up at this lady's house like, yeah, I got a court order that says you can't take care of yourself, get the fuck out. Is that even plausible? Like, can you do that? I don't know. That just seems ridiculously implausible for someone to be able to do to someone else with nothing more than a doctor's note. Like, no one's talked to this woman. This woman was not brought to court. This woman was not given anything that says, hey, you need to appear in court. Nothing. And it's just like you can just do that, just make shit up, take it to court. Court goes, okay. And now she puts this woman in a home and is like going through her house, taking her money, like finding all other sorts of valuables. She's in charge of her finances. And now the old lady's at the home. She can't have a cell phone. Like, this sounds like this is either one of the worst rackets alive that exists, or this is complete and utter bullshit that's implausible and very difficult to watch. That's essentially the premise of the film. And then, to avoid going into spoiler territory, what happens after that is essentially this old lady is not what she seems, and things become exceedingly difficult for Marla. What bothered me about this film, aside from what I just said about the implausibility of it, is that right now in this country, in this world, I'm going to take back the "in this world." In this country, there's far too many people already doing shitty things to other people, like just shitty people treating other people shitty for no other reason other than they're pieces of shit. That's happening in this country just everywhere you turn, right? If that's happening on the news, or, I look on Twitter, or I look on, the New York Times website for an article, or I listen to a podcast, whatever. If this kind of stuff is happening in the real world and it sickens me, as it does, why the fuck would I want to watch that in my free time? Like, yeah, I'm gonna watch shitty people being shitty for no reason. And then on top of that, I just watched two people treat each other like shit for 2 hours, and it was completely unredeemable. Like, I didn't find anything. I'm referring to Malcolm and Marie, by the way. I didn't find that movie to be necessary. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch two people treat each other like shit for 2 hours. Like, where's the enjoyment of that? What am I supposed to take away from this? And now I'm watching another one, and I Care a Lot, and I Care a Lot brings none of the flair and artistry that Malcolm and Marie brought. At least Malcolm and Marie was visually creative. You can tell that effort was put into Malcolm and Marie. You can tell that the actors put a lot into this. It was one of those things where it's just like, once you watch the final product, it's kind of like, why do we need this? Like, yeah, it was cool to look at, and yeah, the acting performances are great, and they had great opportunities to monologue, but at the end of the day, it was like a shitty monologue, brief break, shitty monologue, brief break, shitty monologue, brief break, and that's really all it was. But at least it had some flair. At least it had some artistry. This I Care a Lot doesn't even have that. It's just a really shitty person being shitty, and then Peter Dinklage comes along, which again, I love Peter Dinklage. I like the fact that Peter Dinklage does a lot to not just be Tyrion Lannister. At no point is Peter Dinklage presented as a mobster who's a little person. It's just, he's just a mobster, and he's just there, and his stature is at no point mentioned or relevant. So I like that aspect of it. I like seeing Peter Dinklage play different roles. He comes along, and he is a factor in why things are difficult for Marla. And I saw a lot of people online almost looking at Marla as an anti-hero, and kind of like hoping, kind of like looking at her, like hoping that she wins despite everything that she's doing. And mainly it's because, like, well, men can do this in movies and it's not a big deal. So to see a woman do this kind of cool, it doesn't matter to me. Like, it's a shitty person being shitty, and it does. And furthermore, and this is definitely just a Mike thing. Well, not definitely. It could be a you thing too. But Rosamund Pike has a very unlikable face for me. like she looks like somebody who would be like that. She does this. She plays shitty characters really well. I mean, she got a Golden Globe nomination, and she won for her performance, which I don't agree with that. I agree that she did a great job, because I hated her passionately. So if you can create a character that I hate that passionately, you did a good job. But I found the character to be unlikable. I find Rosamund Pike to give me unlikable vibes. Like, that's how, like, I feel like that's how she'd be in real life. So there's just too much. There's nothing to like here. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, men get away with it, so I'm fine with this woman behaving in this manner. I'm not. Like, I didn't feel like watching that. There's too much of that going on in real life, and it's too difficult to find a way to present this as entertainment. Um, so I can't think of anything really worth recommending from this film. Even though Rosamund Pike won the Golden Globe for her performance, I don't think it's a particularly stellar performance. It's good, but I was surprised to see the nomination and even more surprised to see the win. So um, I don't really have anything to recommend from this. It's just an unlikable movie about unlikable people doing unlikable things without the artistry and flair of something like Malcolm and Marie, which at least gives you other things to like. This didn't give me anything to like other than the ending. I like the ending quite a bit, but that's about it. I'm not on board with the idea of this is something that is unique to see a woman in this position, so I'm somehow supposed to appreciate it. I don't think that's something to appreciate. Like, oh, a woman gets to be a piece of shit. Okay, like, that's not a redeemable character quality. Like, like, okay, yeah, she does, and we watch her be strong and be aggressive and all of these things, but doing that to ruin the lives of old people, like, how is this redeeming? I don't know. I don't find this entertaining at all. And one other thing I didn't like is the film continues to the implausibility is going to be a keyword here. The film continues to implausibility just fairly early on, and it just keeps going. So to give you an example, Marla, Rosamund Pike's character, has several old people that she's doing this with. The main woman of the movie is just, like I said, she's like the cherry. She's like the perfect one with no family connections and all this good stuff, right? But she's got like a wall of photos of all of the people that she's doing this with. And she's got like, I'm saying 50. I don't know how many it was. I didn't count them, but we'll say 50. If you are running the lives and stealing the finances and jewelry or whatever it is, like you're lining your own pockets with the money of 50 different old people, why would you stick with one to the point of like when someone is threatening your life? Because that's what happens essentially is someone comes up to Marla, is basically like, if you don't let this particular old woman go, we're gonna fucking kill you. And if you got 49 others, and not even that, they also bribe her. So it's like, we're gonna kill you if you don't do it, but if you do it, we'll give you, I can't remember how much money it was, but I think, no, she was offered 100,000, then 250, and then the lawyer that was offering it said he could go as high as $300,000. And she said something like, I want 5 million or something like that. If there's a man in your office saying, let this one old lady go, I will give you $300,000 and you will not die, why would you not take that when you have an additional 49 people? So you get $300,000, you get to live, and you still have your 49 others. Why the fuck wouldn't you take that? And she's like, no, I don't want them to win. Like, to me, I immediately roll my eyes. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Why would she do this? Like, you have 49 others. So combine that with what I perceive to be the implausibility of just pulling this operation off in the first place. So now you've got a whole lot of shit that I don't buy, combined with an incredibly unlikable person in both appearance and behavior doing incredibly shitty things to an incredibly vulnerable population, old people. Like, okay, it's like, could she at least do shitty things to like people my age? It's like, okay, you got kids and old people. Like, can you at least leave those two alone? She's like, no, I'm gonna rip off old people by the dozens. Like, so there's nothing good about this film to me. Like, I don't like anything about it. So it's a no for me, dog. I don't think anybody should watch this. But I mean, hey, maybe you're not gonna be as sensitive to shitty behavior as I currently am. Maybe you don't have an issue with Rosamund Pike's appearance, and maybe none of this shit bothers you that much. You can just look at it like, oh, it's just a good time. It's a popcorn movie. It's cool. Then maybe you want to check it out. But I didn't like it. That's it. It sucks to me. See you guys next time. Peace.